Defeat, elimination, heartbreak. It's a familiar story for those following England at a World Cup. But never before has it happened so soon. Back-to-back defeats to Italy and Uruguay mean the Three Lions head into their final match against Costa Rica in Belo Horizonte with only pride at stake. I'm joined by IBTimes sports reporter Tony Mogan and European football correspondent Eduardo-Fernandez Abascal. Now guys, heading into the tournament, expectations were already low, but the two defeats must still be devastating for the team. Surely morale is going to be rock bottom right now.
It's such a surreal scenario for Roy Hodgson's sides to find themselves in at this stage of the competition. The disappointment and the despondency that came with Italy's and Costa Rica's result on Friday night will still be felt to unreal levels for the club, for the players. And in order for them to fashion something in this last of the game, it's going to be a tremendous task in lifting that morale. This game, it's not a no-pressure scenario for England. They're still in this position where they could leave the competition with no points on the board, and for as bad as things have been already, that will not help matters anymore for Hodgson and for these players who would still like to end this competition, not on a high, but on some sort of positive note. In terms of how Roy Hodgson's sides prepare themselves for this, it's probably the only compelling factor of this game left. Interest will be at an all-time low now, but in terms of the personnel and the tactics he may employ against Costa Rica, that's what we can really open our eyes to now. I don't think it will address any of the questions that have emerged in the past couple of weeks in terms of the futures of key players, but it will provide Hodgson with the opportunity to put into plans. He may have been holding back for another game on a lesser grand stage, so to speak. He has the opportunity now, and I think he should embrace it, and I think everyone would like to see him embrace that.
I think it's a very tough game for England players to play, because after what happened in the two first games of the competition, nobody's now looking forward to this game, if not for the holidays. But anyway, just because of the supporters and because of the future, they have to try to finish the World Cup campaign in the best way possible, and it's going to be a important game for the young generation, because they have to prove that they really deserve to be here in Brazil, and also that they deserve to be in the England squad for the future. I'm looking forward to see especially Barkley and other players like Luke Shaw, and also probably a little bit more of Lallana, and of course continue with Sterling and Sturridge up front. And also probably it's a good game to say goodbye to the old generation like Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. We have already done that with Ashley Cole, John Terry and Rio Ferdinand, and probably now it's also time over for Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard.
Moving on to the opponents, Costa Rica. If England's campaign's been a nightmare, then they must all be pinching themselves, because it's the dream that never wants to end. They've managed to do what England couldn't. They beat Italy and they beat Uruguay, so they're top of their group. It's been a fantastic achievement, and how will they set up in this final game?
It's so important to remember that how remarkable this has been for Costa Rica. They were expected to come into this group as we all did, not just pundits and commentators. I think everyone with a passing interest in the group would look at those teams and place Costa Rica propping up the group. And bear in mind, this has been done without their first choice centre forward in Alvaro Saboria, who's been injured for this whole campaign, and Everton's Brian Oviedo, who has been a long-term absentee, who didn't even figure into this team for this summer's World Cup. So it has been an amazing campaign. In terms of how they've prepared and how they've approached each game, I think their performances and their tactical setup has been one of the best we've seen. They've matched two opponents who have genuine world-class players playing for them, and they've done that with discipline, with flair, and with a real sense that they really can go further in this competition.
Yeah, I think actually England have much to learn about this Costa Rica team, because many pundits these days have said that England have not gone through the next round because they haven't got a top player like Luis Suarez. But the truth is that Costa Rica have proved that sometimes it's more important the team than have individuals. It's true that probably a player like Luis Suarez can help you to win the World Cup, but we are not asking that for England, not now. We are just asking them to be more competitive and to be maybe in the quarterfinal, semi-final. And Costa Rica, with probably less talent that England, is in the next round, and they are in the next round as the strongest team in the group of death, because nobody expects them to be in the last 16. They have beaten Uruguay, they have beaten Italy, and apart from Campbell, Brian Ruiz, and Keylor Navas, nobody knows the rest of the players. They are not very well known, they are not very famous, they are not very talented probably, but they know what they want to do.
So as well as providing a prediction for the actual result of the match, we know that regardless of the actual result, Hodgson's likely to stay in the job until the Euros in 2016. How will England build towards that? You know, how will they manage to pick up their spirits heading into that? And also, when it comes to Costa Rica, can this success story continue? How far will they progress in the World Cup?
Well, I think for the slightly longer plan for England and Hodgson, it's important to remember that this isn't an exceptional group of players. It's a good group of players who could go to greater levels, but at the moment, this is not a group of players we're expecting to go to great levels in this competition, if we're being realistic. But I think in this team Hodgson has, he has players who really have their faith placed into him. Faith we didn't see during Capello's reign in charge, during McLaren's reign in charge, and perhaps even Sven-Göran Eriksson's reign in charge, for going back that far. These players seem to really have sort of brought into Hodgson's plan. And that is the most important thing for a side that is in great need for a long-term plan. So in that respect, I think England have made the right decision. For his more immediate future, in terms of how he'll go at it against Costa Rica, such is the negativity that's following England into this game, I think a draw is what we can expect, because the mentalities of these two sides are vastly different. You know, one team on top of the world is looking forward to the next stage, and the other team looking at their watch to see what time their flight is. It will be a big mismatch in terms of the mentality, but hopefully he can provide a match in terms of the quality we've been waiting to see in Brazil from England.
I think he now have to start to believe in the young generation, and especially to know what he wants to do, because for me the problem, the English problem in this World Cup have been that they didn't know what they want to do, you know, because in the friendly games against Peru, Ecuador, and Honduras just before the World Cup, Hodgson was playing with almost a 4-3-3 with Lallana in the midfield, just 3 attackers, and then suddenly the World Cup started and he played with a 4-2-4 and more counter-attack, and it was nice to see them because it was an attractive football, but they weren't solid at all, they weren't pragmatic, and now England, I think Hodgson have to build an idea of game, you know. He has to know if he wants to play passing game or if he wants to play counter-attack, but build like a solid squad, and trying to see Barkley inside the squad, and also probably Lallana, and keep trusting, of course, in Sterling, Sturridge, and these players. And about Costa Rica, I think about this game probably we can expect a draw or something like that, because it would be really good for them, and also for England it would be not too bad to finish in a draw. And for the future, I think they have already do what they have to do in this World Cup by going through the next stage. So if they have to face Ivory Coast or Colombia in the next round, they can even go through the quarterfinal, because I don't think Ivory Coast or Colombia are bigger rivals than Italy or Uruguay. So what we can expect for them? Everything.
Well, for all our World Cup coverage, go to our website, ibtimes.co.uk/sport.